Good evening, my friends. We are live. This is Live Free or Die, and I'm your host, Eli King, broadcasting to you worldwide only on MNN.org. Or you can watch my replays on YouTube/Live Free or Die MNN, or on the Manhattan Cable Networks, RCN 85, Fios 36, and Time Warner 67 every Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for joining me, my friends. All right, we have a lot of news out there this week. I basically can't cover it all because this is only a 28-minute show, so I picked the most important articles to me that I think the people should be aware of. And first and foremost, John McCain is a big supporter of Al-Qaeda, it seems. Many of my fans may already know this, but for the new listeners out there, yes, the Republican John McCain apparently visited Al-Qaeda kidnappers in Syria. And yes, we actually have photos of this. Can we go to these photos? Yes, and here they are right now. Now, this guy that they have the red circle around, his name is actually, or they're part of the Al-Nusra FSA, Free Syrian Army, Al-Qaeda rebels, which are supported by the Obama administration. And the guy, like I said, who circled in red, on May 22nd, 2012, dozens of Lebanese men and women were traveling on a bus through Syria on their way back to Lebanon from a pilgrimage to religious sites in Iran. After crossing the Turkish border into the Al-Qaeda region, the bus was ambushed by this scumbag in the red that McCain went to go visit. So he's visiting Al-Qaeda terrorist cells in Syria in support to try to knock down Assad. Now, I'm not saying Assad is a sweetheart. I'm not saying he's a good guy. He's a scumbag, too, but he's definitely the lesser of two evils in this one. So, with that, we'll... actually, I have more info on these scumbags here that I just showed. We can identify... actually, this is what McCain said. And I quote, "We can identify who these people are." He's talking about the rebel Al-Qaeda sects within the Free Syrian Army. He says there are only a few. He tells this to CIA asset Anderson Cooper. Yes, Anderson Cooper was at the farm. He did a couple of internships for the CIA. He is a CIA operative. And basically, McCain defied reality and said only a small portion of the so-called rebels are radical jihadists fighting to convert Syria in failed states dominated by Sharia law. In fact, the CIA-sponsored rebels are largely radical Sunni Salafist who beheaded Christians and fed them to the dogs. These are the people you go and visit, John McCain. This is who you support, Barack Obama. You see, the Democrats and the Republicans are joined at the hip. They're like evil, conjoined, demon-spawned twins. Okay, they don't work for the people. They're not here for the people. Okay, we need to start our own third party. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm with the Constitutionalist Party because I believe in the Constitution. I believe in what the forefathers brought to us. And I also believe in peace, a peaceful revolution. The pen is mightier than the sword. So we must attack them in Congress, in the Senate, with our voices, our letters, and our outcry. Yeah, these guys are basically scumbag terrorists. So let's move on to our next article. We'll get away from John McCain, the terrorist, for now. I call him a terrorist. But anyway, the next article is from Kurt Nemo at Infowars.com. CIA's Al-Qaeda mercenaries in Syria caught with sarin gas. Oh, but wait a minute. Isn't the mainstream media saying that Assad is the one with the chemical weapons? But here I have a video that I'm about to show you that says the Turkish police actually caught the Al-Nusra, whatever you want to call them, Free Syrian Army guys with the chemical weapons, trying to bring the chemical weapons into Syria to attack the Assad forces and then blame it on Assad. So let's go to that video.
Turkish police have reportedly detained several members of the Al-Nusra Front, a jihadist group that's fighting among the Syrian rebels against the Assad government. The men were apparently on their way to the Syrian border, transporting a cylinder of sarin nerve gas. Live to RT's Middle East correspondent Paul is here for more on this. Paul, what more can you tell us about these arrests, and specifically how do they tie in with Western concerns of over the use of chemical weapons in Syria?
Well, Turkish special anti-terror forces have detained 12 people. That's what we know. They are suspected of having links with the Al-Nusra Front, which is the Al-Qaeda affiliated Syrian rebel group aimed at toppling the Syrian President Bashar Assad. Now, the group was seized in southern Turkey, and that is according to local media reports. The media also saying that they carried a 2-kilogram cylinder with the nerve agent sarin. Now, Turkish authorities haven't yet commented on this report, and we are waiting to hear from them. Britain, the United States and France in the past have said that they believe it is Assad, however, that is using chemical weapons, but they haven't been able to produce any kind of evidence to prove this. The British government has written to the United Nations Ban Ki-moon.
I've heard enough. I've heard enough of their lies and their garbage. Basically, they told somewhat of the truth, but they were leaning the other way. RT has a tendency to do that. But there you go. The Turkish police caught the Syrian Al-Qaeda al-Nusra rebels with chemical weapons. The Obama-supported rebels. These are the rebels that Obama wants to put boots on the ground for. Okay, military intervention, because Assad is supposedly hurting his own people. Anyway, we're getting a lot of conflicting reports out of Syria, and McCain posing with these terrorists just upset me so much. I had to cover it. McCain runs Al-Qaeda. Obama runs Al-Qaeda, and it is ridiculous. All right, let's go on to moving on to this next article right now. Paul Joseph Watson, Infowars.com, of course. American killed fighting for Syrian rebels had Al-Qaeda flag. Yes. Let's go to this picture of this American woman. Here she is. As an American woman and 2 other Westerners were killed while fighting Al-Qaeda on the side of the FSA rebels in Syria, were found with an Al-Nusra, the Al-Qaeda group that killed U.S. troops in Iraq and has become the primary fighting force in the country. Yes, this American woman was later identified as 33-year-old Nicole Lynn Mansfield from Michigan. Yes, here's her American documents right here. She was actually in Syria fighting with the Al-Qaeda FSA rebels against Assad, and she was killed. You know, these are the people that McCain support. Americans who are Muslim and who go over there to fight a jihad, or to, I think they're fighting a jihad, but really they are puppets to the globalist bankster regime. Apparently we have a phone call, so you know what, let's go to it. Caller, you are on the air. Nigga. I appreciate the call. I don't know who he was talking about, but anyway, moving on. Let's see. Well, anyway, besides the fool caller we just had, who apparently wanted to do a new rap song, whatever that was. Anyway, I want some real callers. Give me a call. We are live. It is Saturday, June 1st, 2013. The number is 212-245-7273, 212-245-7273. What do you think about John McCain supporting Al-Qaeda out there, taking pictures, photo ops? He did the same thing in Libya when they went out there and murdered Gaddafi. I mean, come on. And, you know, Gaddafi wasn't a saint either, but he built these like water reservoirs that came up from under the desert, from ice or some kind of thing. And what did the United Nations do? They went and they bombed it with Hellfire missiles. Way to go. That's a good way to help the people. And then they instituted Sharia law. Okay, so now women can't go to school anymore, which Gaddafi allowed women to go to school. Believe it or not, look it up. He also outlawed polygamy. You know, he was very westernized. But the reason why I think they took Gaddafi out is because he was going to back his money with gold. And that is a no-no. You do not go against the banksters. You do not go against the Federal Reserve, or they will have your head on a platter. Look at JFK. Look at Lincoln and JFK, the last two presidents who tried to defy the British IRS banksters. Who do you think runs the IRS? The British. The British won the Revolutionary War in 1913 when the Federal Reserve Act was signed. That's the same year, coincidentally, the IRS was put into place. We should not have to pay these federal taxes. State tax, property tax, sure. But these federal taxes, which actually just went up. My payroll tax went up. Thank you, Obama. We played his pledge a month ago, back in 2008, him promising that he would not raise your payroll tax, not raise your capital gain tax, or any other tax, and that was a flat-out lie, because I got a 4% raise this year, and what did I see out of that raise? Donut. They took, the taxes went up, and oh, this makes me so aggravated. And then people, you know, say, you should stand by your president no matter what. I'm not standing by this scumbag, okay? I am sorry. He makes Nixon look like a saint with Watergate, the IRS scandal, Benghazi Gate, the IRS scandal. Just so much garbage. Just throw him on. That's a caller. Throw him through. We don't screen calls. We'll just throw them on. But anyway, yeah, give me a call. I don't screen my calls. You can call up and say whatever you want to say. This is Live Free or Die. This is what this show is all about. Speak your voice. If there's an article I'm missing, please call, chime in. It's a beautiful day, though, so I don't think many people are home. But they will watch me later on my YouTube channel, I hope. Anyway. Off of my tirade and my rant about John McCain, the actual terrorist, I believe he is. Apparently we have a call, so let's go to it. Caller, you are on the air. Hey, maybe you can start your own new rap company. We'll call it Snow Whitey. Because apparently, I don't know what the hell you're on. He sounds like a guy I work with. Bren, if that's you, I got something for you. Yeah. Anyway, enough of the distractions. Let's move on to this next article. Apparently, somebody has nothing to do on this beautiful day but call up and say the N-word. Let's see if this is the guy again. Caller, you're on the air. Turn down your TV, please.
Nigger.
I guess it's one of those days. Actually, the word nigger comes from a Spanish, negro. And they Americanized it, the Southerners, and they made it into nigger. So, and actually the black community today actually embraces the word, but they call it nigga. So, but I try not to use any of those slang words. I try to use a proper English vocabulary. But anyway, I'm digressing. The N-word caller got me distracted. Anyway, let's move on to this next article. This is by Michael Schneider from The American Dream. Why the next war with China could go very badly for the United States. It's from The American Dream. Most Americans assume that the U.S. military is so vastly superior to everyone else that no other nation would ever dream of fighting a full-scale war against. Unfortunately, that assumption is dead wrong. In recent years, the once mammoth technology gap between the U.S. military and the Chinese has been closing at a frightening pace. China has been accomplishing this by brazenly stealing our technology and hacking into our computer systems. The Pentagon and the Obama administration know all about this, but they don't want to do anything about it, of course. Perhaps the fact that perhaps the fact that China owns $1 trillion of our national debt has something to do with it. What else? The truth is the Chinese are stealing secrets from us any way they can. For example, the Chinese use attractive young women to seduce our defense contractors. Yes, a 27-year-old Chinese honeypot, as they call it, seduced one 59-year-old American who worked with the intelligence, or actually he was a U.S. defense contractor, and he leaked U.S. secrets to China. Another way that China is gaining strategic advantage over the U.S. is by getting the U.S. military to become increasingly dependent upon them. According to Forbes, now the U.S. military is even leasing a Chinese satellite for communication purposes. Don't you think that's crazy? The Chinese, we're using a Chinese satellite to communicate with our armed forces. We're buying Chinese parts for our military parts. All the Chinese products that we get from Walmart. You think they don't have those little cameras in the TVs? You think they don't have those little cameras in the cable boxes? Where do you think these cable boxes and these TVs come from? They come from China. China is the ultimate spy abortion network. Like they want to kill, maim, spy. They are one of the worst. Also involving China, they also selling us counterfeit parts. Over 1,800 cases of counterfeit electric parts involving over 1 million suspected parts in 2009 and 2010 alone. Who in the world would be stupid enough to allow one of their greatest strategic enemies to supply large numbers of parts for key weapon systems? Sounds like our current administration. They have things like Trojan horse computer chips or malware. Do you remember a few years ago when a Chinese sub fired a missile from just off the west coast of the United States? And China has also reportedly been developing a very sophisticated EMP weapon system. The following is from a WND report. And in 2011, it was first revealed that China was developing EMP weapons to be used against U.S. aircraft carriers in any future conflict. Yes, China, I believe, is planning an invasion. And many people think China is our friend, but the fact of the matter is, my friends, China is not our friend, and China is preparing for war against the United States. That is why they are consistently spying on us, hacking into our computers, stealing our technology. That is why there is a ferociously building. They are actually ferociously building up their military and preparing for a future war with America. If you look at movies like Red Dawn, which is now on DVD, the original script to that movie was not North Korea, okay? North Korea did not invade in the second Red Dawn that was recently made. The original script, they already made the movie, and it was the Chinese who invaded, and they had to re-edit the movie after it was already made and make them into North Korean troops. You know why? Because the Chinese own the movie company. And I guess they're saying, hey, by releasing this movie saying that we're going to invade, you're giving your Americans a heads up to our plans. And this is why China also advocates the abolishment of our Second Amendment, okay? Because like General Yamamoto from Japan, from the Japanese Imperial Forces, said during World War II, when the emperor told him to invade the west coast of the United States, General Yamamoto said that would be impossible. And he said, why? He said, why? Well, he goes, because they have a little thing called the Second Amendment. the right to bear arms. And if we land on their coast, on their west coast, there will be a gun behind every blade of grass, and we will be cut to pieces. So they never invaded the west coast. This is why we must keep our Second Amendment. All right, let's go to this call. Caller, you're on the air. I appreciate the call. Apparently, we had an alien call up. I think he may be reptilian. Or I just learned about these new aliens called the Tall Whites. Go figure. My friend has been wanting me to talk about the ETs. But me, I got to see to believe. But I do. I mean, this big universe, there has to be something else out there. I mean, come on. Anyway. Moving away from the ETs, and actually we got another call. Let's go for it. Let's see. Maybe it's a good one. Yeah, go caller. Oh, that's a beautiful song. Hey, if you want a show on the Manhattan Neighborhood Network, you could just come down. They give free classes. Roberto here is a great teacher. He's the guy who taught me how to run the old Mini Express. He's never here on Saturday. First time I did a show with him. Perfect setup we got here. Best guy so far yet. No offense to my other producers. You know who you are. Anyway, let's take this call and see what this clown has to say. Caller, do you have something serious to say?
Hello.
All right, well, and I appreciate the call. Have a good one. Thanks for watching, though. All right, another call. Let's go to it. Caller, you're on the air. Something serious to say? I appreciate the call. Callers, when you call me, you hear the phone ringing, turn on your TV. Little hint. Or I will hang up on you. All right, we only have a little bit of time left, so let's get to these last articles. This one is from Kit Daniels, Infowars.com. Obama to sign UN firearms treaty rejected by Senate. Yes, even though our U.S. Senate, our United States Senate, has rejected the small arms treaty, Obama will still sign the treaty on June 3rd. And that'll basically move forward furtherly to abolish our right to have a gun, which is already abolished here in New York City. And, of course, Mayor Bloomberg will arrest anyone unless you pay him $30,000 to get the damn permit fee. All right, let's put these calls on. Let's do it. Caller, you're on. Go.
Hello?
Yes, go. You got about a minute.
1 minute?
Yeah, you got. I appreciate the call. Caller, you're on the air. Appreciate the call. Caller, you're on the air.
Hi. I've been watching shows like yours on radio for the last 15 years, and you're preaching to the choir. When are shows like yours going to become a critical mass, though? So we're not out there in right field, left field. A small number of people believe in what you're talking about, and most people having their heads in the sand.
Raise him up a little. I can barely hear him. Yes, sir. I totally agree with you. This is why I do what I do. I don't get paid to do this. I do this on my free time. I volunteer because I'm sick of the mainstream media pumping out garbage, pollution to our people. The New York Post is the worst. Rupert Murdoch is a scumbag. He will be tried and thrown in jail once we get the people on board. I appreciate the call. Let's go to this next call real quick. Caller, you're on the air. Yes, please. You got about a minute. Go.
I totally want to suck your dick.
Okay, I appreciate the call. Flattered. I appreciate the call. All right. Enough with the phone calls. Let's finish up these articles. Oh, boy. Okay. Obama to sign UN firearms treaty rejected by Senate. Yes, I just read that. Anyway, they're going to take away the Second Amendment. We got to fight this, man. I mean, everyone should have the right to protect themselves. You know, this is why I'm dying to get out of this city. I mean, it's so ridiculous. It's becoming such a nanny state, such a nanny United States. All right, next article. Steve Watson, Infowars.com. 5-year-old interrogated by school over toy cap gun until he wet himself with fear. Yet another child, barely out of nappies, has been persecuted by school officials for playing with a toy gun on the school bus. Yes, the Washington Post reports this, that the 5-year-old from Dowell Elementary School in Lusby, Maryland, was questioned by school officials for over 2 hours after he showed a friend a cowboy-style cap gun with the little orange tip on it. And it took the school 2 hours to call the parents before they, by then, the mother shows up, the little 5-year-old boy's wet his pants, and they interrogated the little boy for 2 hours? Come on, man. What the hell's going on here? Anyway, moving fast. This is from Gigi Ernetta, InfoWars. Justice Department says use of husband and wife is considered hate speech. Yes, they say use of inclusive language that you are to use. Do use inclusive words like partner, significant other, or spouse. They say this is to protect the gays and the lesbians' feelings. So now I cannot call my wife anymore. I have to call her my life partner or my spouse. Now we're losing our First Amendment. We're losing all of our amendments. It's insane. All right. Next article. Michael Schneider, Economic Collapse. The student loan delinquency rate in the United States has hit a brand new record high. Yes, 37 million Americans currently have outstanding student loans. Yes. Unless you're going to become a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, don't waste your time with college. Hit the bumper music. We're almost done. Last article. Here's how we feel. Here's how we'll be forced to pay 146% more for insurance under Obamacare. Yes, you think Obamacare is here to save you? I don't think so. The rates and the premiums are going to go up, my friends. Anyway, I wish I had more time to cover that, but we don't. Great show. Appreciate the calls. Appreciate the listeners. Watch me every Saturday, 6 o'clock. God bless America. God save the Constitution. And if you have received this transmission, then you are the resistance. Small portion of the so-called rebels are radical jihadists fighting to convert Syria in failed states dominated by Sharia law. In fact, the CIA-sponsored rebels are largely radical Sunni Salafists who beheaded Christians and fed them to the dogs. These are the people you go and visit, John McCain? This is who you support, Barack Obama? You see, the Democrats and the Republicans are joined at the hip. They're like evil, conjoined, demon-spawned twins, okay? They don't work for the people. They're not here for the people. Okay? We need to start our own third party. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'm with the Constitutionalist Party because I believe in the Constitution. I believe in with the forefathers. Fios 36 and Time Warner 67 every Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for joining me, my friends. All right, we have a lot of news out there this week. I basically can't cover it all because this is only a 28-minute show, so I picked the most important articles to me that I think the people should be aware of. And first and foremost, John McCain is a big supporter of Al-Qaeda, it seems. Many of my fans may already know this, but for the new listeners out there, yes, the Republican John McCain apparently visited Al-Qaeda kidnappers in Syria. And yes, we actually have photos of this. Can we go to these photos? Yes, and here they are right now. Assad is a sweetheart. I'm not saying he's a good guy. He's a scumbag too, but he's definitely the lesser of two evils in this one. So, with that, we'll, actually, I have more info on these scumbags here that I just showed. We can identify, actually, this is what McCain said, and I quote, "We can identify who these people are. He's talking about the rebel Al-Qaeda sects within the Free Syrian Army. He says there are only a few. He tells this to CIA asset Anderson Cooper. Yes, Anderson Cooper was at the farm. He did a couple of internships for the CIA. He is a CIA operative. Basically, McCain defied reality and said only a... Now, this guy that they have the red circle around, his name is actually... Or they're part of the Al-Nusra FSA, Free Syrian Army, Al-Qaeda rebels, which are supported by the Obama administration. And the guy, like I said, who circled in red, on May 22nd, 2012, dozens of Lebanese men and women were traveling on a bus through Syria on their way back to Lebanon from a pilgrimage to religious sites in Iran. After crossing the Turkish border into the Al-Qaeda region, the bus was ambushed by this scumbag in the red that McCain went to go visit. So he's visiting Al-Qaeda terrorist cells in Syria in support to try to knock down Assad. Now, I'm not saying... Good evening, my friends. We are live. This is Live Free or Die, and I'm your host, Eli King, broadcasting to you worldwide only on MNN.org. Or you can watch my replays on YouTube /Live Free or Die MNN, or on the Manhattan cable networks, RCN 85,